Hi, this is Gary Bowles, based in San Francisco. I'm really excited about bringing big ideas to people inside organizations, and I'm really honored to show you these videos by John Hagel and John Seely Brown. Enjoy.
It's one of the reasons why kind of an interesting shift our own terminology. Like 2 years ago, we talked about this as do-it-yourself, the DIY movement.
Yes.
And now we're framing that to DIT, do it together, and then how you actually can facilitate that through these creation spaces.
Right. No, and I think there's a natural trajectory again, and for a number of years, in fact a decade or more, we've started to see a process of democratizing production, tools available to the individual that previously were only available to the most large corporation or institution. And there was a natural tendency in the early stage as these tools became available is for all of us to go off and tinker and experiment and improvise on our own. But I think over time we're starting to see that the real potential is coming together in these joint construction efforts that bring together very diverse people and perspectives and create a lot more rich learning opportunities.
So this shift from do-it-yourself to do-it-together actually plays out in the corporate world in interesting ways, because if you think about the edge versus the core, many of our companies, the one I came from, was very good at creating a great edge, Xerox PARC, and then we kept expecting the core would pull us in. So the whole question of how you did ideas out here and experiments and experiences out here, how it would finally make it to the mothership and get embedded in the culture of that. What we're now, I guess, beginning to say is that's all right, but we shouldn't overlook maybe a much more fertile way to go and say, how does the edge pull the core to it?
Yes.
So the edge can do it by itself initially, but then it has to do it together in terms of pulling on some of the assets out of the core and harnessing them in the edge itself to be able to do things. So in this process, the edge starts to transform the core by pulling the core to it. Right. Whereas so much of our kind of consulting framework says, how do we bring the edge into the core? What we're really arguing here is maybe we have to shift our own glasses, our conceptual framing of this, to say, no, actually, how do we think about bringing the core out to the edge? And then how do we have edges interact with each other? Because it's much easier to have edges of different companies interact than it is often to having the cores of companies interact.
Yes, no, absolutely. And it's the notion, too, of not just going to the edge of the corporation, but going out beyond the edge of the corporation and connecting into as many other relevant institutions or people that can help you to really explore those edges, and how do you pull your people out to those other institutions and actually engage at that in their domain as opposed to trying to invite them into your headquarters for a presentation. So